This is the 30 Days to Sell Cars podcast. In this episode, we are continuing our journey throughout the automotive customer acquisition formula, examining how to choose the right strategy. If you want to know the difference between amateurs and masters when it comes to automotive customer attraction, you will not want to miss this show. Hi, my name is Sean Casey, and this week we are taking a deep dive into the third stage of the customer acquisition formula. Like I mentioned last week, it looks like the car business is going to be dealing with the effect of the health crisis for a while. So the most useful thing we can do is to lay the foundation of a scalable, predictable, consistent, and most importantly, profitable automotive customer acquisition machine. In this episode, I'm sharing with you the last of the fundamental stages. Now that you know who you are, your why, and where you are going, your goal, let's figure out how to get there, the strategy. Since the goal is the destination, the strategy is the vehicle that will get you to that destination. If your goal is to go from New York to LA, are you going by train, plane, bus, car, or will you be hitchhiking there? If your goal is to sell an extra 20, 50, or 500 units a month, what's the overall game plan that will allow you to achieve that goal? Think of your strategy as the overarching blueprint that will hold everything else together. Yes, just like your why and your goal, your strategy will impact every other component of the customer acquisition formula. For this reason, it's important for your strategy to be aligned with your why and your core beliefs, and that it's robust enough to support your ambitious goal. Now, because choosing the right strategy is so critical to the success of your customer acquisition formula, and because the word strategy has been misused so many times that it might have left a fog around the concept in your mind, it might be profitable to establish what a strategy is not first before explaining what it is. Now, here's what a strategy is not. A strategy is not an individual tactic. The words strategy and tactics are often incorrectly used interchangeably, but they shouldn't. They are not synonyms. I will often hear dealers say things like, "We should use a different strategy this month and switch from direct mail to digital." That would be switching tactics. That sentence probably also exposes the fact that the dealer has no overarching strategy guiding him or her in their approach. Here's what a strategy is not. Stitching tactics together. That's not a strategy. We have already assessed in the 7 Sins of Customer Attraction section that chasing tactics is dangerous. So piling tactics one on top of the other is also not the overarching strategy that will get you to your goal. Tactics should be carefully chosen to support your overall strategy, not to replace it. Here's what a strategy is not. Again, your brand or franchise is not a strategy. Your brand or franchise is who you are as a business. It's passive, but it's not your strategy, something you actively pursue. For example, being a Toyota dealer is not a strategy, but striving to be the number one Toyota dealer through the design of an experience specifically designed to appeal to busy professionals, for example, would be. Here's, again, what a strategy is not. Following your manufacturer's incentives. That's not a strategy. Following your manufacturer's changing battle cry each month cannot be your strategy since you're not in control. Monthly incentives and programs are your manufacturer's tactics to support their strategy. Don't take me wrong, programs and incentives will help you achieve your goal, but they should not be confused with your strategy. So what is a strategy? Well, Google defines a strategy as a plan of action or policy designed to achieve a major or overall aim. I like to define it as the path you or your company will choose to share with the world your core beliefs so you can help in the most powerful way possible the people you seek to serve. Now, let me give you a precise example. I believe everybody should drive the vehicle they want or need. and that the vehicle they currently own should not be an obstacle to their dreams. My strategy would be to become the #1 trade-in center in the area, the dealer who is known to pay aggressively for trades of all makes and who provides the best appraisal experience, the dealer every vehicle shopper thinks about when it's time to upgrade, no matter what vehicle they're thinking of purchasing next. Everything else I would do would be designed to support that one strategy. Now let me ask you a question. What is your strategy? If you're not sure, go back to your why statement and write it down again at the top of a sheet of paper. Now take your goal and write it down at the bottom of the same sheet of paper. You see the white space between your why at the top and your goal at the bottom? Now draw an arrow in it from your why at the top down to your goal. That arrow, that's your strategy. I know there's still only an arrow between your why and your goal, but start writing what you see in your mind on each side of the arrow. Remember, your strategy is the vehicle that will bring you from your why to your goal. Do you believe, for example, families are the building block of our society? Choose a strategy that would position you as the #1 family store. Do you believe women are not treated fairly and appropriately in the car shopping process? Go reinvent the whole buying and ownership experience for the female gender and make it your strategy to be the store with the most incredible experience for women. Do you believe everybody should have the right to get the best price when buying a vehicle? Go for a one-price strategy and take the market by storm. Do you believe a luxury sales process should support the purchase of a luxury vehicle? Make your strategy to be the dealership known for the most exceptional luxury experience. Do you believe that people are too busy to waste 3 to 4 hours in a dealership when buying a car? Make it your strategy to offer a totally different experience. You see, it's important. As you can see in these examples, it doesn't matter what brand you sell or if you are a new car franchise or an independent pre-owned dealer. Your strategy is standalone. It defines you. It makes you unique. It provides prospects with a differentiator and a reason to choose you or your store over all other options available in the marketplace. So here are your action steps. First, I want you to write down your why at the top of a sheet of paper. Write your goal at the bottom. Draw an arrow from your why to your goal and start writing everything that comes to your mind in terms of how you could communicate your core beliefs, your why, so you can help in the most powerful way possible the people you seek to serve. Number 2, distillate what you wrote on the piece of paper into 2 sentences, starting with 1, I believe, and 2, so my strategy is. Number 3, start thinking informally about how this strategy will now affect everything you do and the overall experience you want prospects and customers to have when interacting with your store. Now here's a fantastic book recommendation. It's one of the books that impacted me the most in the past few years. It's called The One Thing. And at this stage, it might be tempting to decide your strategies to sell to everybody who needs a vehicle instead of choosing one single strategy that will define you and your organization. But it would be a massive error. There's a saying that goes like this: when you try to be all things to all people, you end up being nothing to nobody. If you're tempted to go in that direction, I recommend you read that book, The One Thing. The surprising, simple truth behind extraordinary results. It's a book by Gary Keller. The book expresses in simple terms the powerful and the rewards of focusing your energy on one thing so you can master what matters the most. Here's a quick recap. Do you see how having a clearly defined, overarching strategy can help bring all aspects of the customer acquisition journey together to help you reach your goal much faster? Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you will be back for more great automotive content to help you survive and thrive during the extraordinary events we are living in. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify so you don't miss the next episodes. Make sure to also leave me a few comments on the content I shared with you today. I'm curious to get your feedback and hear about your personal strategy, the one that you are going to use to drive your sales, personal or your dealership. In the next episode, I will share with you the concept of avatars or buyer personas. I will even offer you a few avatars that are very likely to need a new or pre-owned vehicle in the aftermath of the health crisis. If you've never heard of avatars or buyer personas, trust me, you're not going to want to miss our next show. Until then, I wish you a great week. Remember that we only have 30 days to sell cars when the month starts. We probably have less than that if you look at your calendars right now. So like I love to say, let's sell some cars.